Hi there. Today I am going to change the Serpentine belt on my 1995 Chevrolet Suburban. This is a pretty straightforward, easy to do task that most people can do, provided you have the right tool. What you need is a 5/8 inch socket and a long handle of any kind will work. This happens to be a torque wrench handle, but that's not necessary. You just need something long that gives you leverage. While I'm in the process of replacing the belt, I'm also going to replace the tensioner pulley. And again, this is a pretty straightforward, easy thing to do. I'll show you what's under the hood here so you know what we're trying to accomplish. Basically, what we're looking at is the belt coming up from down here. This is the power steering pump. It goes over the alternator. It goes under the tensioner pulley. Then it goes over the air conditioning pump, around a guide pulley, down to the main shaft drive, the main pulley that drives the whole system, wraps up over the water pump, and back down under the power steering pump. So how does one know that it's time to replace the belt? Well, there's a few things you can look for. You can look for glazing on the belt surface, both the underside, the ribbed side, and the top side, because they both run against pulleys. You can look for any cracking or fraying in the belt, and my existing belt that way looks pretty good. But there's another key indicator. Right here on the tensioner pulley system, there are indicator marks that show you the amount of stretch in the belt. You'll see right here there's a little arrow cast onto the body of this tensioner, and right here there's a couple little marks. Also over here there's another arrow and a couple little marks kind of hidden down there. That shows the alignment of this tensioner. This has a spring in it that pushes very hard down against the pulley down here that rides on the belt, and this mark should align very closely to those indicators there, right in the middle. Same thing with that one. As the belt stretches and tires, this goes farther and farther away from that mark. In order to remove the belt, we have to relieve the tension on it from this pulley. That's done with our 5/8 inch socket and a long handle to get leverage. It's very simple to do. You put the socket over the nut that's on the face of the pulley, and you just press downward very firmly, and it raises this entire mechanism. There's spring tension on that, so you have to be very firm in pressure. Once you have the tension off the belt, you can simply lift it off of one of these pulleys, let the belt go free, and relieve the tension. Now I can just remove the belt from around all these other pulleys and take it out, and that's it. There's the old belt. And again, it looks to be in pretty good shape, but it is stretched, so it needs to be replaced. Once the belt is removed, that's the time to rotate all of these pulleys and see that they all run smooth, that they don't feel rough in their rotation, or that they sound dry. And that's where this tensioner pulley here does. It feels a little rough and it sounds a little dry. Everything else seems to turn just fine and feel adequate. So I'm going to replace that tensioner pulley, and it's pretty simple to do using the same 5/8 socket on that same nut that we used to lever up the pulley, but we're going to go clockwise. This is a reverse thread, so we got to turn it clockwise to loosen it. And we got it loose. Now I'll change to a a ratchet, just because that's faster. And just remove the pulley. And the surface is kind of rough too, just from corrosion. Brand new one. We just put on in the reverse order. It's that simple. I'll make sure it's tight. Yep. Okay, now I'm ready to install the new belt. And it's simply going to wrap around all those pulleys. And I like to start by fitting it over the drive pulley, which is the bottom one that's kind of hard to reach down there. And then it's going to wrap up and around everybody else. Now this is a ribbed belt, and the pulleys, some of these pulleys are ribbed, so you have to be sure that the belt sits into those ribs properly. If you have somebody to help you, that's nothing wrong with that. Somebody else can lever while you align. And make sure it's in, put on the tension, and that's it. It's that simple. Now I want to take a good view in here and make sure it's on all the pulleys. I see one over here is a little crooked, so I want to align that. Oh yeah, you got to lean on this pretty hard. There we go. Okay, let's see. So that's on there. It's around the drive down there just fine. All right, that looks pretty good. Looks like everything's in alignment. Okay, I think we're good to go. Now you can see these alignment marks here. See how that has come way back from over here? It's come way back and it's more in line there. And this one here too. That tells me that my belt is in good condition and it's got the right amount of tension on it. You can see it routed all around everything down there. So I'm in good shape. We're gonna start this engine and see how it runs. Well, that was a little hard starting because my battery is not in the best of condition. But it looks like I'm running just fine. My tensioner is still properly aligned. And yeah, I think it's going to work just great.